So our
I'm really good at this.
Cool, and look at this camera too, I gotta remember that. Hi, I'm Kelsey at the Ooni Test Kitchen, and today we're making a sesame whole wheat focaccia on the Ooni Pizza Steel. To first make this focaccia, we're going to mix the water and yeast and olive oil together. And then we're also going to add our dry ingredients. We have bread flour, and we also have a small amount, 50 grams of einkorn. You can use any whole wheat. If you don't have any, you can use 100% bread flour or all-purpose flour, and it'll come out great. So we're gonna mix all this together at our stand mixer with our dough attachment. We're mixing all the ingredients together except for the salt, which is called autolysing. It's gonna help the gluten and the yeast develop for a little bit before we kickstart the dough. So we're gonna have it mixed on our lowest setting for about 4 to 6 minutes. So our dough's been mixing for about 4 minutes. So we're just gonna turn this off and let it sit in the stand mixer, and then we're gonna add our salt. So our dough has been resting for 30 minutes. We're gonna add our salt, and then we're going to let this mix the salt and incorporate it for about 4 more minutes. Our dough mixed for 4 minutes with the salt in it. So we're gonna take it out of our stand mixer and let it proof in a bowl. I have my water right here to make sure it does not stick to your hands. So we're gonna cover this up, and then we're gonna do our first fold. It's been about 30 minutes since we put our focaccia to proof, so we're gonna do our first fold. So we'll get our fingers wet, and we're just gonna take the edges of the dough, kind of just fold it in on itself, and then we're gonna just kind of flip it over on itself. And we're gonna cover it up, let this sit. We're gonna do this 2 more times. It's been 30 more minutes, so we're gonna do our second fold. And you can notice that the dough is a little tighter. It has a little more structure when we pick it up this time. You also notice when I'm doing these folds, I'm not really pulling, I'm kind of just letting the dough kind of work itself over. We're gonna do this 1 more time. It's been another 30 minutes, so we're gonna do our 3rd and final fold. So of course, wet our hands again, and you can see the dough is really coming together. And we're just gonna flip it 1 more time, and we're gonna come back and form it. It's been 30 more minutes, and our dough is properly proofed, so it's time to form. First, I'm gonna sprinkle a little flour on top of this dough to make it easier to come out of the bowl. On the bottom. And these are gonna be about 750 grams each. If you don't have a scale, just divide them in half. They don't have to be perfect. Kind of just fold them in on themselves. And we're gonna gently form the dough. And now that it's done, we're gonna take our pans, do a little olive oil. All right. And now we'll wrap these in plastic and let them proof overnight in our fridge. Okay, so our focaccia's been in the fridge overnight, and we've just pulled it out. It's been sitting on the counter for about 15 minutes. What we wanna do before we stretch our focaccia is preheat our oven with the Ooni Pizza Steel in it to 500 degrees or the highest setting your oven will go to for about 45 minutes to an hour. And all we're gonna do is just stretch it out gently with our hands, like so. And if it starts sticking, you just dip your hands in a little bit of water. And we wanna kinda like loosen it from the bottom of the pan. And then we're trying to just get it to the edges of the pan. We're not gonna push it all the way there yet. It's pretty relaxed right now, so we'll get it about 70, 80% of the way. And then in about 30 minutes, we'll do the same thing. So it's been about 30 minutes since we last stretched out our focaccia. So we're gonna take the cover off, and you can see it's a little more proofed. It's got some awesome bubbles, which are great for focaccia. So we're gonna just stretch it out to the corners, and then we're also going to damp it with our fingers. And what we wanna do when we're stretching this is we don't want to pull too hard. So if it doesn't go all the way to the corner, don't worry about it. We don't want to like create super thin spots in the dough. All right, that looks pretty dang good. Okay, so now that our focaccia is all stretched out, we're gonna create some crevices with our fingers. So first we'll drizzle a little olive oil on top. And then we're basically gonna take our fingers, kind of wet them a little bit, and then just create these little dimples. So our focaccia has been sitting for about another 30 minutes. It's ready to go in the oven, it's super proofed. So we're gonna top it with some sesame seeds and some crunchy sea salt. With this, it's a blank canvas. You can do anything on top of this. You know, you can put herbs, you could put vegetables on top of a focaccia, you could put spices, and it'll always come out good. Okay, so now that it's topped, it's ready to go in the oven. It's been about 10 minutes since our focaccia's gone in the oven, so we're gonna pull it out. And when you're baking bread like this, you want the bottom to stay crunchy, so we're gonna take it out of the pan and let it sit on a cooling rack before we slice it. Baking on a pizza steel is going to mimic the inside of a regular pizza oven in your home. So what you're gonna get is that crunchy, golden brown bottom on a focaccia. It's gonna cook even on the sides. It's gonna really create a lot of heat. So you're gonna get professional bread in your home oven. That's awesome.